27 handicap, having low point issues as the contact can be either fat or thin with the irons. Driver can have a little bit too much of a fade from left to right, but let's start with your irons. Setup, I'd like to see your butt pushed back out a little bit more to stop you from getting on your toes too early. With the weight settling back slightly more toward the middle of your trail foot in the backswing, you'll be able to make an appropriate drive of the lower body, getting you more forward through the strike. Because if we draw a line right on your rear end from your setup, as you make your backswing, the weight falls in toward the toes, getting you closer to the ball and already beginning the early extension of the spine. From here, you try your best to keep that path inside and work that elbow in tight, but the main issue with your contact is that your face is pretty open at this point and you need to flip it closed. And what you try to do is almost sweep the ball, and with certain clubs and from the first cut of rough, I think you can do okay. But you're going to have trouble making a proper divot and compression of the shot when you have to roll that club face as much as you do on the way through. And there's a pretty evident follow through where your right arm will really try to rotate over the left, leading to a low exit plane. Given your setup with a draw bias stance and position, I'd like to see your follow through extend more right of target, which should result in your path in the follow through having that club exit a bit higher as well. So working that path more into out will only be beneficial if you can control that face angle. So quickly jumping back to that face angle, let's note where it is in the backswing, both positionally inside your hands and the angle of the face pointed down toward the ball. As you're up toward the top and in your transition, with the current hip placement, your hands are going to go a little over the top. The club will be slightly over the top of its position, but you can see the variance in that club face angle, which has opened up by about 10 to 15 degrees. And that is what triggers your hands to release it, scoop it, and have the issue with that low point control. So closing the face at the top with your left wrist is a great thing to do, and with your butt pushed out a bit more, if you get to turn your lower body back towards your right heel a bit more, I think you'll be able to drop that hand path a little bit tighter to the body because you will have more room in here with your hips. So quickly going over to your driver swing, because the theme is exactly the same. You don't have to change too much of what you're trying to do with that analysis. Again, looking at the takeaway, not in a bad position right up the plane with the face that's perpendicular. The turn comes to a stop here, and it looks like you're trying to get the weight shifted forward. So really, as the clubs get longer, focus on your weight turning back to your right side a bit more and trying to get your arms and hands a bit deeper. If I were to draw a line from your very top where your butt end of the club is, and that's a little generous there, it's over the middle of your foot. If you can get your hand path or your hand position to reach behind your heels by turning your body a bit more, that again is a great way to lay that shaft path back down from the inside. But again, dependent on the face. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you there. Controlling the path and the face is two completely separate entities. So I would start by working on actually your path first, just to see if you can get that going out high and to the right and get that turn going so you create more depth at the top. But rambled on enough. Good luck. Sendaswing.com.